A teenage boy who fired at classmates and exchanged gunfire with a school resource officer at Great Mills High School in southern Maryland is dead, and 2 other students were injured in the incident, officials said Tuesday. Investigators with the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office were still sorting out which bullets hit which individuals, as the investigation into the nation's latest school shooting continued. Officials identified the alleged shooter as Great Mills student Austin Wyatt Rollins, 17. They said he fired a Glock 9mm gun at a 16-year-old girl, who was critically injured, and a 14-year-old boy, who was listed in good condition, Tuesday. A school resource officer, Deputy First Class Blaine Gaskell, responded quickly to the scene in a first-floor hallway at the school, the sheriff's office said. Gaskell fired at Rollins. Rollins almost simultaneously fired his gun. Gaskell was not injured in the shooting. St. Mary's County Sheriff Tim Cameron said there is an indication that a prior relationship existed between the shooter and the female victim. Officers are working to determine if that was part of the motive, and they're trying to determine which shots struck which individuals. While it's still tragic, he may have saved other people's lives. Gov. Larry Hogan said of Gaskell, who has been assigned to Great Mills since the start of the school year. The male victim is being treated at MedStar St. Mary's Hospital. The girl was taken to University of Maryland Prince George's Hospital Center, and is battling life-threatening injuries, Cameron said. The shooting happened in a first-floor hallway just before 8 a.m. at the school at 21,130 Great Mills Road, County spokesman Tony Jones said from the Emergency Operations Center. Mary's County School was placed on lockdown and students were evacuated, Jones said. Cameron said multiple law enforcement agencies and fire departments assisted in the mass response at the school. This is what we train for. This is what we prepare for, and this is what we pray we never have to do, Cameron said. On this day we realized our worst nightmare, that our greatest asset, our children, were attacked in a bastion of safety and security, one of our schools. Officers from multiple agencies assisted with the investigation into the shooting, which included searching a car and a home, combing through social media accounts, interviewing witnesses, reviewing footage from surveillance cameras, and tracing the ownership of the gun used by the student. Cameron said there weren't any immediately obvious warning signs on social media, but that investigators still needed to take a deeper look at social media. Gaskell, the school resource officer, was in uniform at the time of the incident. He's been with the sheriff's office for nearly 6 years, after 4 years as a correctional officer. Senior Terrence Rames was standing with his friends outside their first period class around 8 a.m. when he heard a shot. He said he knew instantly what the loud crack meant. He started running, heading to a first-floor bathroom before thinking to himself, this is a dead end. He turned to instead sprint toward the nearest exit. Out of the corner of his eye, Rames said, he saw a girl fall. I just thank God I'm safe, said Rames, 18. I just want to know who did it and who got injured. Great Mills, which enrolls about 1,600 students, is about 90 miles outside of Baltimore. Parents were asked to meet their children at a reunification site on the Leonardtown High School campus, where counselors and other support staff were on hand. Lexington Park resident Shonita Somerville said her daughter heard a gunshot but did not see anything and is not hurt. She's since reunited with her daughter. I'm so happy to see her face, Somerville told The Sun in a Facebook message, as she waited with several dozen other parents inside the Leonardtown High School auditorium. No one answered the door Tuesday afternoon at Rollins' home in Lexington Park. Tony Foreman, who lives across the street, said she was shocked to learn that Rollins might have been involved in the shooting. He would often walk her son, 13-year-old Ivan Foreman, home after school, and just last week, the 2 boys played catch, she said. I didn't know he had any guns, she said. He was a very good kid. She hesitated to say she regretted letting Rollins watch her son. I don't know what the situation was, she said. I wish he would have reached out for help. The Great Mills shooting comes just over a month after a deadly rampage in a Florida high school. 17 people died in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, catalyzing a national conversation about gun violence in schools. Last Wednesday, Great Mills students participated in a nationwide school walkout on the 1-month anniversary of the Parkland shooting. The students called for an end to gun violence and more school safety measures, according to local news reports. One of the student activists from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas tweeted her anger about the Great Mills incident. Less than a week ago, Great Mills High School students walked out with us to protest gun violence. Now they're experiencing it for themselves. Jacqueline Corrin wrote, "The state of our country is disgusting. I'm so sorry." Great Mills school safety has been a prominent topic in the deliberations of the Maryland General Assembly since the Parkland shooting. Less than a month ago, after the Parkland shooting, Hogan proposed spending $125 million next year to enhance security at schools in the state, including by reinforcing doors and installing panic buttons to prevent and react to shooters. He also suggested $55 million for 2 ongoing spending initiatives, including $50 million for school safety grants that could pay for armed school resource officers, technology and counselors at public schools, and increased funding for the state's Center for School Safety, which would include money to hire social media experts to scour the internet looking for threats.